How's it going, folks? It's Jack here, or should I say pre-intro Jack, and well, it's Sunday. You probably know what that means. Today I'm going to give you guys a chance for another double upload day of Park to Prem. If this first episode hits 700 likes in the first 8 hours it is live on YouTube, I'll have another episode up today. I've been playing a hell of a lot of the save game this weekend. I'm enjoying it an absolute ton. I know a lot of you guys are too, and also just as a little bit of a heads up, the 100,000 subscriber Q&A that I'm going to be recording soon is still happening, just sorting out a few bits and pieces for it, but you do still have some time to get questions in, so maybe you missed the announcement earlier. If you go over to my YouTube channel, go to the community tab at the top and check out the comments on the most recent post. There you can post questions for the Q&A as well as thumbs up questions that you would like to see answered in that. So yeah, feel free to go check that out, it would be massively appreciated. Hopefully you enjoyed today's first of hopefully 2 episodes coming your way. And yeah, that is going to be all from me. Future Jack, get into it. Do your thing. Play the intro. Let's go. What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to Town or Town. It's Park to Prem, episode 32. I don't know how we've got to episode 32 already, but here we are. Today, a livecom double header, of course. This is the second episode of season number 5. Today we have Harrogate Town, who are our big rivals, at least according to the media. And we've also got Barrow just a couple of days later. So yes, both Harrogate and Barrow relegated to the Vanarama National League North last year. So 2 teams who you would expect to see in promotion contention. You can see if we just look at the kind of media predictions, we are top, Harrogate are second. They've got some players in the Dream 11 as well, particularly in their midfield. Got to be a little bit wary of them. So yeah, it's going to be a spicy affair. And if we just look actually at team detailed stats and then salary per year, you can see Harrogate, the big spenders in this division. They're spending £1.3 million a year on wages. We, on the other hand, are spending £250,000, or half a Rodri, I guess. Yeah, there is a bit of a contrast when you look at it between the 2 teams. However, I'm hoping that we have the quality on the pitch, and with our shrewd spending, we're going to be able to get a good result. Maybe somewhat against the odds, actually. Let's have a look. If we look at the media preview, yes, it is against the odds. It's interesting the fact that they are the favourites for this game, but we are the favourites to win the league, despite being at home. That seems a little counterintuitive. But maybe recent form comes into it, because we've had an okay start to the year. You can see the league table here. We are down in 7th. No one's really pulled away at the top of the table, but we've not had the perfect start. We really could do with a win here. If we lose this game, 6 points behind Harrogate after 5 games, I mean, already we're chasing, aren't we? So let's hope we can get a good result. But, well, speaking of the scorelines, you can see, of course, last episode we took on Alvechurch. We won 1-0. Murray with that memorable late goal. And from there, a mixed bag and, well, a traffic light. We've got a green, a yellow and a red. And, well, let's start with the green, shall we? We took on Kings Lynn Town, and in this game, we went a goal down after less than 5 minutes. In fact, it was 6 minutes in, so I tell a lie. But, yeah, a set piece, a big ball over to the back post, headed in, and yeah, we've conceded a few too many goals from set pieces so far this season to start things. I'm going to attribute that down to the fact we've changed a lot of personnel at the back. But yeah, the first goal was a sign of that. We did bounce back well though. Kumwenda with his first of 2 goals in this match in the 6th minute. So coming in the exact same minute that they scored, an immediate response. 1-1 at the break, and in the second half, we ran out victors. Callum Jones with a little bit of a scrappy goal, but nevertheless, great for the Welsh Yaya Toure to get on the score sheet. His shooting is debatably his weakness, and he didn't really show it there, although it wasn't the most difficult of finishes. Leighton Stewart then got on the end of a pass, which was missed but kind of by the defender. Went for an interception. For a second, I thought it was going to be offside. It was not. He made it 3-1, and at that point, we did start to relax a little bit. And in the 87th minute, Henry Kumwenda, with his second of the game, ensured that we got all 3 points. So good stuff there. You can see as we look at the upcoming games, Leighton Stewart has scored in the last 3 games. Kumwenda, this was the only game that he has scored in. Anyway, we then took on Curzon Ashton, and against Curzon, it was a good result, I guess. I mean, we went down, but again, early on in this game, another set piece, if I'm not mistaken. Had a good little attendance as well, actually. 243 fans is a bit of a jump compared to last year. And, from there, we got a goal having conceded by Dean Briggs. It was Leighton Stewart with our goal, a tidy little finish into the bottom left corner. And in the second half, we started to get a little bit of momentum going. And then Malcolm Boxall was sent off. So, not ideal. He is back from suspension for today's game. We will hope that that is a sign of things to come. And that he's going to be a bit better behaved, I guess. You can see here his determination has started jumping up. And I think that is largely down to, as we touched upon last episode, the fact that a lot of our players that we signed do have good determination and it's kind of passing through the team. Anyway, we did take on Basford most recently. I'm not going to show the highlights of this game because we would be here all week. But you can see it finished 5-3. It was a crazy, crazy game. It was actually 4-3 at half time. But yeah, unfortunately, we found ourselves just on the end of a bad result. I mean, the fact we scored 3 goals, fantastic. Conceding 5, maybe a little bit of a cause for concern there. And off the back of that, I have decided that I think we're going to drop Chapman for today's game, which might prove to be a big call. We'll have to see how he gets on. So yes, this is the team that I have right now starting this game. So Murray comes in. He was the hero in episode 1 of the year. We had some fantastic names for Johan Guandangano here. The one I'm going to go with, and I'm sorry to the person who suggested it because I can't remember your name and I don't have it to hand, but he's not Johan, he's Joe Hands because he's a goalkeeper. So there you go, Mr. Hands, that's his name. With his aerial reach, he's very, very good with his ball control. No, I guess his ball control, but when he catches it, he's got good handling. That's what I'm trying to say. He's not got goalkeeper ball control is not how well they can hold the ball. Maybe it is. Either way, very good goalkeeper. Hands by name, handling by nature. But yeah, at the back, we've got Younger, we've got Gannon, we've got Dunstan. Dunstan's looked pretty good, actually, considering he's the big earner at the club. His average ratings have been, pretty solid. Gannon, a little bit of a cause for concern, perhaps. He's been a little bit... I was hoping for a little bit more. I guess we'll put it that way. After 4 games, a 6.78 rating isn't particularly good. Obviously, I talked about the fact that Steve Chapman has been dropped from the first team. He's on a 6.67 after 3 games. So, yeah, we'll give Murray a chance to show his pedigree at left-back and see how he does. In the midfield, we're going to go with Boxall alongside Jones. Of course, Boxall back from suspension today. Jones, so far, 2 goals in 4 league games. A really good return for a centre midfielder. I'm hoping he's going to be the solution to all our centre midfielder problems. You can see a leading player for most teams in this division. I'm hoping he's going to be proving that again today. And then in the final third, we have Lindsay and Rose, 2 players who have done okay. Rose hasn't contributed much, but he was out with a little injury, so he's not played too many minutes. Lindsay, on the other hand, 2 assists to start the season. We'll hope that he can get a few more. And up top, Stewart and Kumwenda, at least right now, they are scoring. They've got 5 goals between them, which in 4 league games is, I guess, average. Hopefully they can keep that going for us in today's 2 games. And without further ado, let's get into these matches, because we've got 2 to get through today, 2 huge, huge ones. And we're not really doing anything in the transfer market right now. There's no one jumping out at me as a must-buy player. I'm pretty happy with the overall squad balance as a whole. We have a large squad. I think it's 27 players if you include Ryan Ferguson and Sonny Best in the first team. But they're never really going to play for us, so let's just say 25 for the sake of simplicity. But we have adequate cover in every single position. If there was one area of the pitch where I might like to strengthen things, I think the right attacking midfielder position with a left-footed player would be quite desirable. There's been a few games where I've wanted a plan B, and obviously we have Josh Harrison on the bench. He's not really a particularly great plan B. He's never put in crazy performances. So if I was going to identify anywhere, I would love to get an either-footed winger who can play on the left and right. That would be kind of optimal. I feel like that might be hoping for a little bit too much. And, well, defensively, we need to be better than we were there. Johans, he saved us there with that stop. That was a good little save as well. Point-blank range, kind of smashed straight at him. I thought for a second Kumwenda was going to launch the counter-attack. Unfortunately, it was not to be. But half an hour gone, 0-0 against Harrogate really wouldn't be a bad result. You've seen the wage spend difference. I know we're predicted to win the league with the media. The board, they just want a top 7 finish. They want to be in the playoffs. And given just how much Harrogate are spending, it's always going to be a challenge to beat them to promotion this year. They've started well. Realistically, a win here is very, very desirable, and I might roll the dice a little and gamble on going for the win and leaving ourselves exposed at the back as the game goes on. And when I'm going to level with you, after an hour, we've had one highlight. It wasn't even a goal. It's hardly been a classic. Let's make some changes here. I'm going to bring in Gary Burke, I think, for Kumwenda. Kumwenda's been a little out of form. And with my other change, I think I'm going to take Lindsay out of the team. Struggling a little bit for condition, but mostly it's just his poor performance that I'm concerned about. We'll see what Burke can do here. And Harrison, the two subs linking up. I mean, that bodes well. What are you going to do, Josh? Lays it off to Burke, who hits it outside of the post and wide for the former Burnley youngster. That's unfortunate. That was the best chance we've had all game. Not necessarily saying a great deal because it's been a game devoid of, well, any particularly great chances as the referee gets in the way here. And, well, they're bringing the ball forward. Hill down this right-hand side. Players queuing up in the box. What are we doing? I'll tell you what we're doing. Nothing. And we don't need to do anything with shooting or crossing or whatever that was by their right winger. Like that. I've got one last sub. You know what? I don't really have anyone to bring in. I'm going to bring in Warrington for Boxall. Boxall, not had a great day at the office. Got suspended previously. Let's give Warrington a bit of game time. He was the player who took the place of Boxall. And, well, I'm glad it's a live comp double header today, because this would have been the shortest episode ever if it was not for that. It finishes 0-0 here, and after a 5-3 last game, that is not the result I was expecting. But we have got Barrow. They're struggling a little bit. That drops us down to 9th, which is a little bit of a cause for concern. You can see Alfreton, the only team to, well, have a reasonably good record. Everyone else has actually slipped up a fair bit and dropped points. That makes me feel a little bit better. You can see they held out for a draw. That's how it's been judged. What was the attendance? 255. So actually, looking at it, we're getting about 100 more fans than we were last year. That's a sign of progress of sorts, I suppose. And yeah, we've got Barrow up next. But actually, I'm going to go now, guys, because I'm going to level with you. Chelsea v Leicester is about to start in real life. I'm going to go and watch the first half, come back and record the second match of this episode at half-time. A little bit of behind-the-curtain stuff for you. And yeah, let's go forward, see how we get on. And, well, hopefully we can see some goals. That would be nice. Okay guys, so we are now back for the game against Barrow. You can see the team selection here. I am thinking of mixing it up just a little bit. Just in a wee bit of transfer news, I'm trying to sign Mr. International back. I want to bring him home. I don't know if he'd actually play that much for us, but he only wanted £200 a week for the rest of the year. I feel like at that price it's probably worth a punt, of course. We got a very good year of service out of him. He moved to Salford, and yeah, he's a free agent at the moment, although there are a few other teams interested, so whether or not we can pull that deal off remains to be seen. Anyway, casting our eyes towards our starting 11 for today's game, we're going to stick with Murray at left back. I'm not going to bring back in Chapman just yet. If we just compare Chapman and Murray, I feel like Chapman is probably a little more athletic, whereas you can see here, Murray is just a much better player defensively. So I feel like on paper, I would nearly always go for Steve Chapman, but just based off recent form, I'm going to keep my faith in the Scot. Elsewhere in the team, you can see I'm going to bring in Warrington for Boxall in midfield. Now, this might be a little bit of a controversial one, because traditionally, Boxall has been the better player. However, when you compare them on paper, there is one player better than the other, significantly so. And additionally, Boxall's really not had a good start to the year, and I feel like just giving him a game out, you know, a time to reset might help him out. And it's a similar story in the midfield where I've decided to drop Akeem Rose. He's been very, very lacklustre in the 3 league games we've played him in. That means we're going to bring in Harrison onto the team, and he's going to play on the right-hand side. Now, last year we were using personalised instructions of him as a winger, so what I've decided to do is mirror that with Lindsay on the left. So a little bit of tactical tinkering, I suppose, but really just playing roles that make better use, I guess, of the players that we have at our disposal. We have, in the past, played Lindsay out on the left as an inverted winger, and for the end part of last year, he did a great job there. But so far this year, he's not been at his best. It's a role that he's much more familiar with, and well, we'll see how it slots in with our overall system. So anyway, let's submit our team for this game away from home against Barrow. They are, of course, relegated last year, or were, of course, relegated last year. They were a team who haven't got the highest of expectations, but given our recent form, we absolutely need to beat them. I believe they're down in 17th. So this, when you look at it from the outside looking in, is a very winnable game, and a game that we should be expecting to win against Barrow. Let's hope that we can run out comfortable victors and get a few goals. That last game was one of the worst games I've seen in my time here at Town Law. It was It's always awkward as a football manager YouTuber where you big up a live com, the two big teams in the league, and then it finishes 0-0 with 2 highlights all game. I can only apologise. Clearly, the quality of ourselves and Harrogate was extremely comparable, and we just kind of cancelled each other out. We'll hope that away from home here, though, we can continue to do our thing, and you can see 58% of possession and all the shots in our favour in this opening half an hour. But again, no highlights to show for it, although free kick whipped in, or corner whipped in even. I don't know what's happening. Jones has hit the crossbar. Where's the ball gone? Into space is the answer. And that was a weird highlight. And we have another corner here with Boxall not in the team. Dunstan has taken it upon himself, the right back, to be the ball deliverer. And there's Lindsay at the back post with another header. We've hit the woodwork twice in this game in the first 40 minutes. I'm a little bit worried this has got the feeling of just one of those games, Let's hope that we can start finding the target a little bit. Warrington inside to Dunstan, the highest earner at the club of Dunstan, and that's why. That's not why I've given him £500 a week. What was that? Half time, 0-0. I'm not sure how it's 0-0. Boys, I'm not happy. I don't feel a need to drastically change anything tactically because we are running rampant in this game. We are running riot. We are in complete control. We just can't seem to find the back of the net, which is usually a sign that you're going to lose 1-0 in Football Manager. Let's hope that's not going to be the case. Lindsay to Warrington, who's got a bit of a point to prove. Going back to Gannon, who puts a superb ball forward to Harrison, who, we've given him a chance, Harrison. Hopefully he can do good things for us. Dunstan whips in. Kumwenda header. He's now headed it over. We are having a lot of aerial chances here. A lot of balls being whipped into that 6-yard box. Barrow not able to deal with them. Fortune perhaps a little on their side from the perspective of we're not looking very good ourselves. Anyway, I'm going to take off Lindsay for Akeem Rose. Looking at the rest of the team, there's a few players not pulling their weight. Hopefully Younger can step it up. Stewart and Kumwenda have been quite quiet. Do I want to bring in Gary Burke? I was really hoping that Gary Burke would be this superb kind of third choice striker, I guess. Second choice in terms of plan B. He's not shown that just yet for us. But you know what? I'm going to give him another chance today. If he can't score on off the bench, maybe Voltman is the man to give an opportunity to. We couldn't have 2 0-0s in one episode, could we? I don't think that's ever happened in the history of my channel. We've got 8 minutes to try and make it not happen. Please, boys. Younger spreads the ball out onto the right. Doesn't pick out his man. It falls to Harrison. Warrington again to a Dunstan. What can you do? Can he put in another ball of quality? Floats it back post. Rose is there and he now heads it over. I mean, what is happening today? We've switched to wingers and suddenly we're just putting the ball into the box constantly and consistently heading it over, it would seem. I've got a chance to do one last shout. I don't want to change anything tactically. It's another 0-0. What has happened? What has happened here? I mean, Dunstan gets man of the match with an 8.1. But it's a small highlight. This game took 3 minutes. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, folks. I don't know what to tell you. This is meant to be a live com double header. People are going to look at the episode length and it's going to be under 20 minutes. I mean, it's another clean sheet, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, that's... It's not ideal. Let's have a look at the league table anyway after those 2 draws. So with that, we fall out of the playoff spots. We have still only lost 1 of our opening 6 games, which when you look at it from the outside in, looks quite good. But when you look at the wider kind of ramifications of that, it's a case of we're just drawing and not really winning, which is only going to be a problem for us. Bolton have recovered well, as you can see here at the bottom of the table. Only on -2 points now, so maybe they don't need me after all. Are they still in administration? They are. Well, that's a situation for them, and the takeover, it seems like, collapsed again. I feel like I've gone cold on the desire. Cold on the desire, that's not a phrasing, but cold on the desire to be Bolton manager. I feel like we've got a bit of a project and a bit of a challenge going on here. You can see Joe Hans in goal has been replaced by a fisherman, and in the final third, it's Gateshead's 2 strikers who are now in the Media Dream 11. So slowly but surely, our pre-season billing and those big expectations that the board had, and that the media had certainly, are fading away from us. just to look at a few dynamic stuff, we might as well show some screens that we don't normally look at to end today's episode. You can see here the overall team cohesion, dressing room atmosphere and managerial support is very, very good. There's no real negatives, no players are kicking up fusses. In terms of the hierarchy, Sonny Best and Ferguson are now down in the under-23s. I'm sorry, it's for the best. I feel a little bit bad, but sometimes you have to do what you've got to do. So they have fallen out the hierarchy, and that means that the highly influential players now are Kumwenda and Stewart. Dunstan has slotted in as an influential player alongside Younger as well. Harker's up here as well. Now he's not our starting goalkeeper, he'll probably just drop down to relative obscurity. But yeah, nice to see Leighton Stewart and Kumwenda up there at the top of the table in terms of hierarchy. Interesting social groups, actually. The fact that Kumwenda, Stewart and Boxall, 3 players who have been here a reasonably long time at this point, are players not in social groups. But you can see here, still some pretty good stuff going on here in terms of overall happiness, which is nice. The following recommended players have been scouted and are likely to fit in the existing social groups. Who have we got here? Max Sheaf. He plays for Lincoln. I think we were looking at him last year. We're not going to get him. Who else we got? Anderson Arroyo. These are all going to be players that I can't sign and that I scouted over the summer, aren't they? If one of them's a free agent and is great, maybe we'll get them. I mean, these are all a little bit out of our kind of affordable bracket. 2 Sorensens, though. Maybe one of the Sorensens is going to be affordable. We've got Elias and Lasse. I mean, he's playing for Ob. I don't think he's going to be interested. And last but not least, we've got Lassie, who, again, don't think he's going to be interested in joining us. Why are these being suggested here? I think it's because they were on our big shortlist of players with contracts expiring in 2023. I probably scouted them, and now they found jobs, but they're still scouted. You can see here, I should remove all the players who have still signed who have gone on to sign new contracts in our big list. Players with contracts expiring this summer just gone. But yeah, looking at things here, is there any big players who could become available? Adam Ider. Adam Ider has still not found a club. I mean, he would be an incredible signing. Feel like he's the kind of player who will get snapped up sooner rather than later. But we'll keep an eye out and see who becomes available. Oh, Ider would be very, very good, wouldn't he? That's never happening. Can we talk to you, Adam? He doesn't want to relocate. Leading League 2 player, potential to be a leading League 1 player. I swear Adam Ider has really good potential in Football Manager, and that is massively downplaying how good he could be. Former Norwich man. I'm a little bit surprised that he's not still playing for them, to be honest, or at least hasn't found a new club. I guess we'll keep him on our radar and hope that maybe he becomes available, although that feels a little unlikely. Right, before we end today's episode, one last thing we'll look at is just the club vision and managerial performance stuff. You can see right now the board are very, very happy with the high-tempo football, entertaining football. We're playing attacking, we're playing possession-based football. Recent concerns, Alex Lindsay's form. There's finances to sign Murray. I mean, we've signed him on a free transfer. What are you chatting? I don't know what to make of that. I guess they think we're overpaying him on £200 a week, which feels harsh. They're a bit concerned about the 5-3 defeat against Basford. Although Callum Jones, they are liking as a signing. And I'll tell you what, this guy's made a pretty good impact so far. A 7.2 rating. We've never really had 2 centre midfielders in our team perform at the same time. Last year was the year of Boxall. This year he's been kind of disappointing, Boxall. And Jones is the one performing. Eventually we'll strike a balance where 2 players really step up for us. Maybe this can be the year and we just need to give Boxall a little bit more time. I guess we will find out in due course. Anyway, in terms of when we'll be back, I think the game against Gateshead could be a good one. They're currently top of the league. Of course, they were promoted with us this year, just gone. So they're a team we're familiar with. They're top of the league. They're going very, very strong. We play them at the end of October, which is a few games away. By the way, ignore the fact there's 2 Bolton games here. That's just FM bugging out for some reason. It does this. I wish I could tell you why. But just ignore that. Yeah, how many games we've got? We've got 8 games between Gateshead and now, 2 months, so we should have a bit of a better idea of exactly where we lie. In terms of the 2 results we've had today, disappointing on one hand, good to keep clean sheets, avoiding defeat against Harrogate's good, Barrow away from home, we should be doing better, but it's just one of those things, isn't it? But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap things up here. I apologise on behalf of the team for our poor performances. Hopefully against Gateshead next time, we can have a bit more entertaining football on display. And yeah, other than that, it is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.